Hello there and welcome to the second video on how to run pthreads in PHP or multi-threaded PHP. This time I've made the screen recording a little smaller because I've got some 1440 Korean monitors, and when I watched the video back it was incredibly small and hard to see on a smaller resolution screen, so hopefully this will help you guys. So in this installment, I'm going to be showing you how to compile PHP with threads. If we actually go onto my GitHub, I actually have a little guide on how to do it. Even though it's a little outdated from when I previously did it, it should be enough to help you sort of guide your way along. Oh dear, get my words out. Okay. Before we do this, I'm using a little Vagrant box, so I'm just going to be a little lazy and I'm going to give it a bit more RAM because we're going to be compiling, so we can give it, give it 5 gig of RAM. That's fine. Okay, so we'll just do a V up. You've got to get Vagrant, it's so useful. Had already provisioned it, so it shouldn't take too long. So the guide is quite simple, really. Just wget distribution of PHP. Make sure we've got some packages installed, mainly for the compiler as such, and we'll be good to go. I'm going to be installing it with the most basic extensions, so if you need other things, you're going to have to do that yourselves. I'll come into that in a second. So we're going to go into the temp. Oh, you're going to see my slick coding skills here, or writing skills. So we're going to wget PHP. Now I know the latest version of 5.4 is 0.28, so we'll just download a copy of that. We'll also do an update and an upgrade. I should have probably done this before, but shut up and do it. Yeah, I should have done this before to make it a little smoother, but oh well. So we'll just run this whole command. It's got a couple of packages here, dstat, IO top and interface top. Very good for doing a bit of network monitoring. This was because I was using it for my dissertation project, where I created a HTTP server that was multi-threaded in PHP. I need sudo on that. Hopefully this won't take long. I'll have to do a little bit of video editing, I expect, to smooth this out and make it a little less boring. Ah, not too bad then. Okay, so we're just going to untar this. Okay, so we've untarred it. We've got a come on. So we've got our sort of PHP package ready to be sort of compiled. Before we do that, we're going to go into the extension folder, and in here we're going to clone this Git repository. We'll just go onto it first. You'll see that this is a package on GitHub for making PHP multi-threaded. It's very useful, and I was a little surprised it exists. So we'll just clone the repository into the extension folder, and at this point we can cd back. Now, while we've done that, we need to rebuild the package as such. So just force it to reconfigure or rebuild the configure settings. At this point, we'll just configure, and we won't bother with the other extensions. While this is going, I'll explain what that is. So this step does take a little while, just configuring what the compiler is going to be doing. So other extensions you can use is with MySQL, with Tidy, sort of some PDO stuff. enable zip, Perl, GD, some image drivers which are very useful. That I used mcrypt, which is incredibly useful, and I expect a lot of packages as well, frameworks as such, wouldn't work if you don't have this running. And I didn't give it a configuration path. That should be fine. I don't think we're going to be worrying too much about our php.ini. So we're just going to clean it up before running, which is fine. And we're ready to make. Now this step might be the step that takes a long time, and some swift video editing may be required to smooth this out. Okay, so the compiler has finished and I've smoothly returned to the video, hopefully. I need to improve my video editing skills before that happens. Right, so what we've done is we've just run make. And that's all good now. If you were to look here, you'd see it is installed, or it is run even as such. What am I doing? I don't know. Whatever. You'll see it has actually compiled. Now, what to do from here is you just need to run make install. That needs to run as root, as we're going to be copying that into the bin path. Unfortunately, there is an error happening here, but I can't really see why. If we do php-v, we see that we're running 5.4.12 CLI, fine. And if we run -m, which shows us what extensions and things we have installed, you can see that pthreads is right there. So this screencast, while a little boring and a little procedural, shows how to install PHP with threads from source. Now, you might need to play with the compiler and play with the configuration to get it to do what you need the PHP to do. And it's, I suppose, a little time consuming, but you can go and do something else. Now, this script here on the right was something I used to automate the process for my dissertation project. It does require a little updating, and it's probably not going to be perfect for all situations, but remember, compiling is pretty easy. It is just make or configure, make, install. The only thing that is different here is that we are just bolting the package into it, rebuilding, and then configuring. You're free to do it afterwards as such. So, oh, I forgot to explain what these flags are. 1 second. Okay, so enable maintainer ZTS. That is basically Zen's thread safe, I think, after reading through the documentation. That is very important. Without this, you cannot enable the pthreads package or extension with PHP. It needs to be configured to be thread safe. I've enabled sockets because I created the socket application. I also enabled PCNTL, which is just forking, so you can sort of compare forking. You might as well compile it or install it at compile time. We also enabled pthreads, and I'm not entirely sure what this one here is, but it was necessary. So again, we've installed PHP with pthreads, a library that enables us to do multi-threading. If you'd like to learn more before the next tutorial or the next screencast as such, you can visit this URL here, which will sort of show you a bit of documentation, and we should be good to go. Because in the next screencast, we'll be covering a couple of simple implementations. I think probably crunching numbers on multiple cores, showing that you can run tasks truly in parallel on in PHP. Nothing too complicated. Really, this is just sort of an introduction to threads, and you really have the use cases for what you need. If you do have a suggestion, though, feel free to tweet me it, and I'll see if I can do it. So until next time, catch you later.